Ladies and gents, PepperBelly here, bringing you guys some Microsoft Flight Simulator X, the Steam edition. It was released yesterday, December 18th. It sold quite a few copies because, surprisingly enough, it was released at an 80% discount, so $5. I immediately jumped all over that. I was planning on buying it ahead of time anyway, because I knew it was coming to Steam. I have boxed copies of Flight Simulator, and I haven't touched it in a very long time, but I enjoyed it. You know, I grew up, as many of you guys probably don't know, I actually grew up playing flight sims. I played, if you ever heard of the company Nova Logic, the guys who made Delta Force Black Hawk Down and the Delta Force series and all that, they also started off making flight sims. So like the F-22 Raptor, the MiG-29, and the F-16. They had the Comanche, you know, the Comanche Gold, and they came out with Comanche 4, which was more arcadey, but they started off making flight sims, and I grew up playing all those, also the Jane's flight sims. Those are all combat-oriented flight sims, but, you know, I also played Microsoft Flight Simulator 2002, I think it was, and 2004. 98, played my Flight Simulator 98. I remember that was the only game that actually had the Cessna crumple up on impact, which I thought was hilarious. You slam into a building, and it just breaks into a trillion pieces and falls to the ground. That was kind of funny. That was good times, good memories. But Flight Simulator X, if you guys don't know the history of it, basically, in 2006 is when it was released. Shortly thereafter, in 2008, 2009-ish, Microsoft Studios decided to shut down the company. I think they're Ares Studios or Aces Studios, something like that. And unfortunately, that meant support for the game was completely neglected. So it has never received any support since, which is incredibly unfortunate, because it's a solid game. And of course, there's competing titles like X-Plane, and then they came out with Prepared. But the thing about Prepared, which is spelt with an E or a 3D at the very end, so it's like Prepare 3D if you want to think of it that way. Prepared was actually created by Lockheed Martin, and a lot of the developers that worked on Flight Simulator X actually were taken on by Lockheed Martin to go and work on Prepared. That's why they're pretty much the exact same game engine. The only difference is Prepared focuses more on some jet aircraft like the F-35, Lockheed Martin aircrafts, right? F-22s, various other planes they have that Lockheed Martin has created. Focuses more on that, although you can utilize some of the FSX add-ons that'll work with the Prepared version. But the thing is, Prepared actually has DirectX 11 support and 64-bit support, unlike this game right here, which is kind of unfortunate. And a lot of people were saying in the forums, you know, they would love to see optimization issues, and the guys who actually ended up taking a hold of the reins of Flight Simulator X is Dovetail Games. They're the guys responsible for Train Simulator. Train Simulator was the game that costed like $5 grand to get the game and all the DLC. One of the most expensive, I'm pretty sure it is the most expensive game on Steam. It's insane, the price, right? So naturally, myself and a lot of people were kind of skeptical about getting this on Steam. They're like, if I already have the box copy, what's the point? Because what benefit am I going to get? And also, what's the price going to be? And I was saying I was not going to spend any more than 10 to 15 bucks. Maybe 20 would be pushing it if I wanted to get this game again on Steam, which would be terrific. And like I said, it released for $5. So naturally I was like, alright, I am definitely buying this. And I guess a lot of people thought the same thing. It's like, oh, you know, I can go and buy a burger today, or I could buy Microsoft Flight Simulator X and land on aircraft carriers with F-18s. Even though that's not the main focal point of the game. I'm showing you that because it's probably the cooler part of the game, but most of this game is about recreational flight and commercial flights. So commercial airliners like 737s and, you know, that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, by all means, this game is for you. That or X-Plane, if you want to get X-Plane. The thing is, FSX has a massive following behind it, and tons, and I mean literally tons of add-ons and stuff in support for this game. And in fact, when GameSpy shut down and they were no longer supporting the multiplayer, there's programs like VATSIM and like many other programs out there that actually took over. Like the community just took advantage of it and were like, you know what, we gotta keep this game alive. And that's what they ended up doing. They hosted their own servers. Lots of people played it. It was huge. You know, FSX had a huge following. It was followed by a lot of dedicated fans. A lot of people who are actually air traffic controllers. A lot of real pilots, stuff like that. People love to play it because it offered that experience. And it was really well done. And of course, you get like scenery add-ons like Orbix, and you can get like Rex Essentials and all that stuff. So that's like one of the main things that people kept playing this game. Unfortunately, it still suffered from optimization issues, which is unfortunate. A lot of people voiced that they wanted optimization in the game, and Dovetail did respond saying, you know, this right now is literally just the initial release containing a normal gold edition of Flight Simulator X. They're not really talking about the future yet, so who knows? They might plan on optimizing code in the future, make the engine more friendly to modern systems, which would be freaking sweet, because unfortunately it's not nearly as good as other instances, other versions like Prepared, which is pretty much the exact same engine, but again, utilized for 64-bit systems, multi-core support, and of course, modern-day graphics cards, which is nice. And DirectX 11. They also did touch base on the add-ons like Orbix and Rex Essentials, which I was talking about earlier. They say they want to make the game as compatible with all the add-ons that already exist, but it is inevitable that some of them may not work, and I think it's mainly due to the fact that the auto-installers they have automatically searches for the directory of where it's installed, where with Steam, it's installed in the Steam directory, so it may have problems there, but technically they should all work flawlessly. There shouldn't really be any problems with that, because all you're doing is just moving files over to the same installation folder, but in the Steam version, so a lot of people say that some things haven't worked. I've been testing it. Some people say some things do work. It's hit and miss. The one thing I would absolutely love to see supported in this game, though, would definitely be Steam Workshop. They need to get Steam Workshop supported, because they have no plans right now. Unfortunately, that's what they literally said. They're like, oh, we have no plans for Steam Workshop. They need to implement Steam Workshop somehow, because being able to just literally go in, scan through like hundreds, possibly thousands of planes and scenery mods, and you just click subscribe and it downloads automatically to the game, and bam, you have all the things you can possibly, like, man, it'd be a huge missed opportunity if they did not take advantage of that, and it would be a damn shame. But I think the problem with that, though, is that it would diminish their sales and DLC, and that's probably why they're not really looking to it, because they're like, we need to make money. And the thousands of people that bought the $5 version right now for $5 probably aren't making us enough money for whatever reason. So they're probably going to be they're going to be releasing DLC over the course of the year. But at the same time, they need to make money in the long term, right? They're releasing this game to support it and to make money. And they're going to milk it, right? We all know that. They're going to milk the title. And there's nothing wrong with that, because, I mean, they brought multiplayer back, and it's using Steam, which is friggin' phenomenal, and some other changes, so it's not really a big deal, like, that they want to make money. I can see that they probably don't want to make Steam Workshop just because they're worried that people will be like, oh, look at that freeware, left and right and center, everywhere, and they just download all that and not buy the DLC. And we know that some people produce some phenomenal freeware. We've seen some aircraft that have amazing attention to detail for like free, and you just install it, and it's freaking sweet. And there's also payware, which no thanks. I'm not gonna pay for aircraft unless it's like something like DCS, which I've been playing a lot lately. But I've been on a flight sim craze lately, and I've actually been playing a lot of Digital Combat Simulator. I've been playing a lot of X-Plane, and I tried out Prepared, and I've been playing FSX recently. So it's like I'm kind of going nuts with flight sims lately, bringing back my childhood feels. It's like the nostalgia of growing up playing flight sims all the time. So it's a lot of fun, and if you guys are interested and you have a joystick in your closet somewhere that you want to dust off and play around with and fly some big-ass airliners, or maybe some jets, which is mainly just the F-18 and FSX unless you get add-ons, then by all means, go ahead and pick it up. It's only $5 now. I think it's on sale for the next 48 hours, I believe. I could be wrong. Or it was on sale for 48 hours initially for the 80% off. So if it's something that interests you, definitely pick it up, because it is a solid game, and for $5, holy crap, that is a steal, and you should definitely do it, considering that a lot of the payware and total price, so people spend like upwards of $5,000 on this game, you know, buying all the proper instrument panels and everything. Like, hell, my friggin' dad is obsessed with Flight Simulator, and he plays this game quite a bit. Yeah, you know, he's on TeamSpeak with all his buddies, and he has like the flight yoke and the whole thing. He actually built a cockpit at one point. It was phenomenal to look at and be inside. It was really well detailed, but he had to tear it down. It was rebuilding a new one. So it's like, you know, some people take this stuff pretty damn seriously, and it's a solid game. So again, if you guys are interested, just be aware that there's some issues, which I'll talk about right now. DirectX 10 preview causes some flickering on the runways, so you see some texture flickering on the runways. There's some micro stutter because of multi-core support. There's no proper multi-core support, so there'll be some like you'll probably see it in the video. There's some micro stuttering, like at the beginning of the aircraft carrier was stuttering. However, there are fixes like optimization files you can download, configuration files that can alter and fix that a little bit. And I actually haven't tried that out yet, so I don't know. I'll probably make a follow-up video touching on that to see if it actually really made a difference. If not, then I'll probably just not make a video, simple as that, talking about it. So my name is PepperBelly. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I will see you all on the next one.